Hello everyone, this is Callie Respusi, the Collections Manager here at the Bennington Museum, welcoming you back to Tours at 10. Today we are talking about the Abenaki in Vermont. Of course, long before white settlers came here in 1761, the area was filled with people. The Abenaki and the Mohican were both living and occupying this territory where the museum stands today. The Abenaki territory sort of stretched out north and to the east. The Mohicans were to the west, south, and up to the bottom of Lake Champlain. We created this exhibit working with the Vermont Abenaki Artists Association and have pieces from some of the artists represented by them. And one of my favorites is this one here. This is called Alnabai. It's by Jean Morningstar Kent, and it depicts the Abenaki creation story when Glooskap fired his arrow into the ash tree and human beings spring from the tree. This is created on gourd. What she does is she carves actual gourds, and this is made from little pieces of gourd that have been arranged in this frame. So gourds, of course, were something that were grown by people here for hundreds of years. They would have been used as containers for storing things, and grown with peas and corn and beans in like a Three Sisters organization or garden. I've also, around this section, here we have a depiction of an Abenaki couple, and this is based on a 18th century drawing that was made by one of the early explorers, and it shows a couple at their wedding. They're wearing ceremonial hoods and traditional Abenaki clothing. This is by a contemporary artist, Francine Patois Jones, and is one of the pieces that has been lent to us by the Vermont Abenaki Artists Association. Also, we have these two baskets here, and these are by Carrie Wood, and she's using a traditional Abenaki technique. These little pointy things on this basket, and then this one has them around the top as well. But this is a technique that was developed by Abenaki artists in the 1800s to use as trade for the white settlers. They had been making baskets, of course, for practical purposes for centuries before then, and created these fancy baskets to trade as a way to market their goods and to be able to make a living around here. This one is from the museum's collection. It's from the early 1900s, and it was bought by a woman up in Arlington, Vermont, and used as a sewing basket. So clearly there were Abenaki here who were making these things and selling them in the early 1900s. And one of the interesting things I think about this exhibit is that there is this story in Vermont that there were not a lot of Indians here. They used this as hunting ground, but in fact there most certainly were. There are lots of archaeological sites, lots of evidence of that. And they were here when the settlers arrived. They had been decimated, of course, by disease, by warfare, and were forcibly pushed off their land. The museum, of course, has been telling a rather one-sided part of this story. We've traditionally told the story of the white settlers and not so much the story of the people who were here before. So this exhibit is one way to kind of complete that story and to try to tell the rest of the story of early Vermont.